Hi, this is Pastor Jamie Tickler, First Baptist Church in Cherokee, Kansas. Glad you're along for this short little broadcast on YouTube. We're just excited to be able to give you an opportunity to listen to a little bit of what we do here in Cherokee. We just hope that you enjoy this, that it's a blessing to you. And feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to get in touch with our church via the website, www.cherokeechurch.org. From our website, you can listen to entire unedited messages. And if you're in our listening audience, you can tune in to 103.5 FM for Truth for Today that plays every Sunday morning at 8:30. God bless. Nobody makes you sacrifice. You either do it or you don't, based off of your own decision. So, the reason to sacrifice presents itself. You respond either proactively or reactively to your core values. If college is important for your kid, you will respond filtering it through that core value in a different way than a person who doesn't have that core value. If missions are important to you, you are going to respond reactively or proactively to that decision, to that option, by filtering it through your core values. And lastly, after it filters through your core values, you then decide if you're going to do it or not. That's basically it. You're going to decide. You must have a reason, you must have core values, and you must have willfulness. Let me take you to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 27, as we see the great sacrifice in Scripture. It says, "Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole garrison around Him. And they stripped Him and put a scarlet robe on Him. And when they had twisted a crown of thorns, they put it on His head. And they put a reed in His right hand. And they bowed the knee before Him and mocked Him, saying, 'Hail, King of the Jews.' Then they spat on Him and took the reed and struck Him on the head. And when they had mocked Him, they took the robe off Him, put His own clothes on Him, and led Him away to be crucified. Now as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, and him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they had come to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of the skull, they gave Him sour wine mingled with gall to drink. But when He had tasted it, He would not drink. Then they crucified Him and divided His garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, 'They divided my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots.' And sitting down, they kept watch over Him there. And they put up over His head the accusation written against Him, 'This is the King of the Jews.'" That is the instance. That is the story by which all previous sacrifice stories are a picture of. That is the central element of the gospel. Everything before it foreshadows that event. Everything after it is to be a reflection of that event. It is the greatest event in human history. When God became a man, lived the perfect life as God, died on the cross as the substitution for us. And then we know, praise God, 3 days later, He was raised again from the dead. But this morning, I want us to understand something. In studying this sacrifice, Jesus taught us much about what He did. Taught us much about sacrifice as Christians. Consider this morning, consider this very first thing. Jesus sacrificed in what He did. Him going to the cross was a sacrifice. It says in John 10, verse 17 and 18, Jesus said this, "I lay down my life. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down myself." Let me read that one more time. I lay down my life. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down myself. If you think of this, and no one overpowered Jesus, nobody was too strong for Him. There were no ropes or chains that could truly bind the eternal God, embodiment of flesh. There's no force in all the world that could have stopped Him. And He said in John 10, "They're not taking my life, I'm giving my life." Shows a willfulness on His part. Now, if that's the case, and we believe that you have to have three ingredients as far as sacrifice in order to sacrifice, let's go back through those. Did Jesus have a reason? Did Jesus have a reason to sacrifice? Absolutely. Now let me ask you this. If Jesus had a reason to sacrifice, was it proactive or was it reactive? Was He reacting to a situation that had presented itself? Absolutely. You see, the Bible tells us that God came to redeem us from our sins, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God understood that man had chosen to sin, thereby missing the mark of the standard of His holiness, thereby separating us for all eternity from Him. And God, understanding that Eve and Adam had taken of the fruit and eaten it, and then sin was passed down onto them because of their willful disobedience, and sin therefore was passed down to all men and women, as we are children of Adam and Eve, that sin nature now is not just a nature, but we willingly sin and separate ourselves from God. So God responded to the situation. He reacted to the situation that we had caused. If it was reactive, what about proactive? It was absolutely proactive. You see, Jesus' response to the cross, Jesus' willingness to go to the cross, was reactive because man had gotten himself in a ditch. And He responded. But because of John 10, that I read to you a moment ago, we learned that Jesus proactively did it. No man, no human was asking God to redeem them. The Bible says there is none that seek after you. We are like sheep, all having gone astray, each man to his own way. There were none of us that were crying and say, God, save us. God, do something. God, here's the plan. God, send your only begotten Son to the world to die for us. Jesus responded reactively because we got ourselves in the mess, and proactively because He was willing and eager to do it. If He had a reason, what was His core value? What was the framework by which He made His decision to redeem the world? Well, it's easy. It tells us also in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 16, For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. What was God's core value? What was that process by which He filtered the sacrifice through? It's love. In 1 John it tells us that God is love. God knew you got yourself in a ditch. God knew that I had gotten myself in a ditch. God knows that the whole world has thrown themselves into a ditch because of their sin. And that one sin is enough to separate us from God for all eternity because we missed the standard of His holiness. So indeed, there was a reason. Indeed, there was core values, which is love. And indeed, there was willfulness, as we read in John 10. No man takes it from me, but I lay it down myself. How odd would that have been to have the soldiers know that this prisoner was not fighting them? This prisoner was indeed being very cooperative. When Judas came out in betrayal and kissed Jesus, and the soldiers of the high priest came around Christ, and Peter drew his sword and cut off Malchus's ear. That's probably what they were used to from their prisoners. Putting up a fight, rebelling, going against them, dragging that prisoner away because he would refuse to walk to his own demise. How odd that must have been in the last recorded miracle of Jesus before the cross, that He healed the ear of the servant that was taking him away. He did a good work on the soldier that was binding him. And to know that as Jesus was walking, He wasn't fighting them. He wasn't cursing them. He was literally going along, being very cooperative with the program. One might say, and I will tell you this, it is my opinion that His lack of resistance probably led to further torture. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our short little broadcast here on YouTube. We hope that it's been a blessing for you.